find that the bar is actually called rebar. Up to the left, just to make ourselves pretty somehow, so let's just borrow some classical ornament, put it on the buildings. This great example of the 40. The Beatles were a fairly popular rock and roll band of the 60s, early 70s. And as we move underneath this DuSable Bridge here on this beautiful morning, look off to your left and you'll see the designer of the building. The great German-born architect Helmut Jahn has his design headquarters in the second floor. Cars, for obvious reasons. This had a bowling alley, a theater when it opened, today's House of Blues, an office. This is where the madmen work. This is the headquarters for the Leo Burnett Advertising Agency. Kevin Roshan, architect. Ricardo Bofia's design. If you look all the way at the tiles in the art, postmodern style. Off to your left, the building with the American flag flying over the entryway, 1930 designed by Holabird and Root. This is a perfect colors of green glass in its face, referencing the deck of the First Lady, both in sunlight and in shadow. That is nice. The lines of the windows, but that base at a time when there was no such thing as sound deadening glass lives every office in the building above the noisy Lake Street elevated line. You can see a 54-story office building as well. And then off to the right, the glassy building with the balconies, $12,000, and begins the process of turning it into residences. After almost 1988. And coming up, the Kinsey Street Bridge. Every unit now looking out on the river. You want a 4-bedroom unit in Kinsey Park, it'll cost you, being repurposed for residential and commercial space. Off to your right, Solomon Cordwell Benz design, Park Place, geometric machine design here, keeping in touch with the original era of the building. And coming up here to the right, just forgetting to tell people that Groupon began in what is this now huge high-tech. Pages went out to 250,000 customers earlier. It is 440 acres of green space filled with statues that I hope will continue into the future. You can get on a bicycle. It all happened. This is the Kinsey Street Bridge. This is an example of bar in Chicago, right here on Wolf Point. This city would not have been the same if that had not happened. Off to your right, the very first church. You probably would be seeing something a little taller than 5 stories. Land from the estate for $12.2 million. The lease expires in this building in 2019. You're probably going to not see, as I said, because of the zoning ordinance at the time, this great throne-like. This was the transportation center of the nation, and it still is. Anderson Probst in white design. Notice the corners of the building. Clearly those long vertical bands of unadorned wood. You see the tower crane. You can guess this isn't going to last much longer. In fact, Ancora, for a 29-story residential building, has just started here, even close to it, to live in this blue sky, 311 South Wacker, just in front of it. Story of the fire, largest Slurpee machine in the world. Great building ahead of us with that glassy triangle up there at the top, 200 South Wacker, 1981 design. How many people remember those 4 little river cottages with that sail? Holabird and Root once again. This doesn't have some of the height of Art Deco buildings that we've looked at so far. Remarkable piece of engineering. This is 150 North Riverside, a Getch Partners design. The railroad tracks again are here, 30 feet long, 20 feet wide, 8 feet deep. 1,000 tons of water. Symbol. Months to complete from the time the first hole, late 19th, early 20th century. Edward Filene, the great designs anywhere. This is the last project that the great Mies van der Rohe worked on. AMA Plaza here of the rest of Vietnam. And I think this is so appropriate that it almost I think they call it a symbiotic relationship. Wherever you get out and walk along the lake or up to Lincoln Park, down to Hyde Park, designed by two really young architects. I mean, they were right out of the sleek and streamlined. That building is just as beautiful as today. The first residents opened the door to their apartments. Timeless design that you can't get far enough away to really appreciate what the building is trying to do. Certainly with 18 miles, 30 kilometers of lakefront, you can get far away from the city to appreciate this grand skyline water show. Great day for those Ferris wheel earlier. Off here to your right now, as Captain Gabe brings the First Lady around. L. Frank Baum visited the fair, was so taken by the magic that he saw there, he decided to create a book of magic of his own. The building and reclad the building in Mount Airy granite from North Carolina.
Parece México con todos tirándose en la fuente. Right here.
Now is a good opportunity for the next minute or so to collect any of your personal belongings. Your cell phone.
One is there on the second floor called the Grand Luxury. right, Jake. Come on.
I guess your phone is a lot bigger than mine.
Donde esos días uno camina hasta arriba, ¿no?